Hip-hop is my passion. I love to pop and lock and jam and break.
Is that even legal?
No. We have to stick to the stuff we know, and what we know is how to talk about movies for an hour and change.
That's questionable.
Yeah, I was going to say what we know is podcasting, but I would say that is highly debatable.
Yeah.
But so welcome to the Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And we're doing Musicals Month, and we're finishing off with the musical, High School Musical.
This is a bit debatable, honestly. I'm wondering how people are going to take it.
Well, I would say that we gave the theater people their moment. We did Les Mis.
Yep.
We did 3 arguably very valid movie musicals. So if you're going to come for us for doing a high school musical, I'm sorry. I'm sorry we didn't do Chicago. I don't know, Fiddler on the Roof. What more do you want from me?
We weren't going to do the Phantom of the Opera. We just couldn't.
So the High School Musical, I think, is a really fun addition to the mix personally, because this movie came out at that perfect sweet spot for our generation.
Oh, yeah.
So we were like late 90s, so I believe I was like 7 or 8 when this movie came out. If we have any new listeners, if this is your first time listening, or if we just like didn't introduce ourselves, we really don't do that. And so I feel like trying to get into a better habit of introducing ourselves for the pod. So my name is Dara.
I'm Emily.
And we are the 2 hosts. Jen, my mom, will come in later. She'll get her own little introduction. She has a segment she does in the middle. But I'm trying to get into the habit of introducing us because, I don't know, maybe people would like to know that. Who's to say? But I think the reason people are really here is to have us talk about the 2006 hit smash of a film, High School Musical. Were you a big stan back in the day?
I don't know that I was the biggest stan, but I definitely remember watching it, like, pretty often. I better remember the second movie instead of the first, which I think is arguably the better movie and the more iconic one. But I obviously, you have to stick with the classics.
Yeah, rarely in a franchise, like a trilogy, any sort of series of movies, like, it is so rare that the first one is not the absolute best one. And I think the third High School Musical is completely out of the picture. I do not regard it. But
I never even saw
the second one, it was in theaters. So the first 2 were Disney Channel original movies, which were just, movies that obviously premiered on the Disney Channel. And they made so much money from the first 2, especially the second one was the most watched TV movie maybe of all time, I think.
Jeez.
Yeah, like it had 200 million people watched it or something fucking crazy like that. So they obviously had enough of a fan base that they released the third one in theaters. But I think that the people who were our age had just outgrown it.
Yeah.
Like, I think
totally
I maybe
agree.
still went and saw it, but I just think it had kind of lost that. And the production, I think they overspent. The third movie is not it, but High School Musicals 1 and 2, I would say that they are just as good. And the second one, there's a valid argument that High School Musical 2 is the superior film. So I completely agree. I was absolutely a stan. I had the dance-along tapes, like the DVD that came with a little inflatable basketball, so you could like learn how to do the dribbling dance moves or something. Obviously, I couldn't, but like the sing-alongs, the dance-alongs. I had a party, a sleepover party for the premiere of the second one, where they did the all-day countdown on the Disney Channel, and then they played the first one, and then there was the countdown, and we had like cupcakes that said like Troy and Gabriella on them or some shit like that. Like, absolutely an event.
That was a big night for Disney. It was like, I saw something about it recently. It was like, they had like the Wizards of Waverly Place like movie premiere or something like that, and then they had High School Musical 2 premiere, and then they had like Phineas and Ferb. Their first episode came directly after that.
I believe it.
It was an event and a half.
That was the peak of television. I made a note that it felt so weird to not watch this with commercials. And like not only just like regular commercials, but like specifically like early 2000s Disney commercials, because like, kids advertising is super regulated, so they can really only advertise stuff for their own channel. So you just get like a 5-minute ad break of just like The Sweet Life and Zach and Cody over and over and over.
Like, where are the Sprouse twins trying to get me to buy Danimals?
Yeah. Or like when they did the little fake wand, they're like, do, 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 do. Hey, I'm Ashley Tisdale from The Sweet Life on Deck, and you're watching Disney Channel.
No, this is honestly like the first thing that Zac Efron like did from my understanding. But like, here's my thing, is that did he really do it? Because
I have quite a bit to say about Mr. Drew Seeley. Because if you didn't know this is like the number one known like fun fact, I guess, about High School Musical 1 is that Zac Efron does not sing.
No. Pretty much never.
At points, he sings. And you can kind of tell. If you, like, have it in your mind that, like, I'm going to say, like, 10% of the time, they let him actually do it. And then didn't they do, like, sound mixing to kind of try to blend them together or something? Yeah, they did a lot of that. But, like, when I was listening to it this time, I did not hear anything mixed whatsoever. It was straight up Drew Seeley. Like, the only time that I could, like, actually clock that it was Zac Efron was, when he's on her porch?
That one, yes. And also... And
at the beginning of the karaoke...
I don't even know about that. It was at the beginning of Breaking Free was that I could clock Zac Efron. And that was it. Yeah, because he does it, like, low-key kind of a cappella, right? Yeah. He goes in... Goes in raw, and then Drew sweeps in with the premix. Like, I just don't understand why, at that point, they didn't just cast Drew Seeley. I cannot believe. So, Drew Seeley is just as passably vanilla attractive as Zac Efron. Exactly. If you look at, he's just like at the same time, same conventionally attractive young white Canadian man. Like, completely interchangeable. So, what the fuck did they see in Zac Efron that they were like, could Drew Seeley, like, not shoot a basketball for jack shit or something? Maybe. And they were like, we can't have it. Because this obviously did not save Disney any money. Because they had to pay both of these actors, right? Like, probably Zac Efron got paid more, but... I don't know. I honestly have no idea. So baffling. And I tried to, like, research, like, why not Drew Seeley? Like, why not? And I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find anything out there about, like, all I got was just that, like, he auditioned and they were, like, quasi-casted him, but not really. But then I guess Zac Efron had to, like, work really hard and, like, fight tooth and nail to get this role. But I'm like, if he couldn't do the singing... Yeah, it just doesn't make sense to me. Especially, like, seeing this and seeing how Zac Efron's career got launched after this. And Drew Seeley, I think the most notable thing that he did after this was another Cinderella story. And that was it. Right. He got to go on the live tour for High School Musical because Zac Efron immediately turned around and booked 17 again, right? No, it was Hairspray. Oh, Hairspray. And then he did all of his own singing for Hairspray. And they did all... That's why, and he did all of his own singing for the next High School Musical too. I guess he really, like, had to fight for that. They were gonna get Drew Seeley on again, and he was like, no, like, come on, guys. Like, I can do it. And the closest thing to an argument I could find was that his voice was too low to be a high school sophomore or junior or whatever he is. So they were like, oh, his singing voice is too deep. We needed somebody who was more in that higher range to be passable for high school. But, like, what? Really? That seems too nitpicky for me. Right? Because in those times when you can tell it's him singing, he's not great. Yeah, I don't know. But, like, I think about him in Hairspray, and I think about him in High School Musical 2, and it's fine. His singing is decent, if not pretty good. Maybe he was just on that last wave of puberty. Like, did you ever hit, like, a weird bump of puberty when you were, like, 19? Like, just, like, that last and final wave before it really settles in. And, like, maybe he just was having some pubescent moments. I honestly don't know. I did look up his age. He was 19 during this. Vanessa Hudgens was 18. Out of the whole cast... the Monique Coleman, who played, what's the smart friend's name? I have no idea what her name is. She was 25, and the youngest person was Corbin Bleu, who was 17. So they were all in that late teen, early 20s kind of age. And honestly, to me, now that I'm watching this, obviously I watch this movie probably once every couple of years. I wouldn't say every year, but... It's not like I haven't watched it since I was a kid or anything like that. But to me now, they look so young. I'm like, oh my god, Zac Efron is a baby. He is a tiny baby man. And when I was like 8 watching this on TV for the first time, I was like,
oh my god, they're so old and so cool. And now I'm like, oh my god, his little twig arms, I could snap him in half. Think about how Zac Efron looks now. He's hulked the fuck out.
Well,
like, it's just wild.
Like, that's like when Disney like still casted, and I mean just anyone pretty much still cast like people still on the verge of being teenagers or on the cusp of being adults, and like it made sense instead of casting the entire cast as 25-year-olds and stuff like that.
Yeah, right? Like Riverdale, they're like fully 40. They all live in a retirement home together, like, because they're that old.
Like, think back to Glee, they were all like mid-20s or 30s.
Yeah, right? Like, actually 30. But this movie walked so Glee could run.
Oh, for sure.
I'm gonna say it. This movie made the, like, musical theater, singing, like, doing drama, like, to be cool. I can't think of anything before this in my, like, cultural experience. And then Glee came around pretty shortly after this and really popularized it, but I think this movie did it first.
Oh yeah, Ryan Murphy entirely capitalized off of this wave.
Of, like, kids our age wanting to have a meet cute at a fucking ski lodge. Like, invite me up to sing karaoke even though I can't sing, and then we're gonna look into each other's eyes and just perfectly sing a duet. Like, yes. 8-year-old me had that clocked in as the way it was gonna go for me.
It's what every 8 to 10-year-old wanted. It's what every 8 to 10-year-old thought was gonna happen.
So, I guess we can do a lightning fast recap, but if you're listening to a podcast about High School Musical and you've never seen High School Musical, that's a little bit wild to me, but I know there are some people out there who just, like, listen to all of our episodes regardless, and honestly, y'all are the most dedicated. And so if you've never seen High School Musical, it's super, the plot line is the most A-plot, B-plot, simple story format of all time.
It's for 8-year-olds.
Gabriella. Yeah, right. It's literally for baby children who cannot process information. But Troy and Gabriella meet on a New Year's Eve ski trip at, like, the ski resort kids party, I guess. Like that's, like, a thing. It's like, you know, when you're on I've never been on a cruise, but I know, like, from people who've been on cruises that they'll have, like, a kids section.
It's the teen
and
room.
you like make friends when you're on the cruise because you're, like, gonna be there for 2 weeks or whatever. It's very that. And they both get just, like, pushed up on stage to do karaoke, which is kind of rude.
Yeah, honestly.
I think. And they sing, and they're both so good at singing, which is really convenient for everyone.
Who would have thought?
And then he's like, oh my god, you're so pretty and talented. And she's like, tee-hee-hee, oh, who, me? I'm just a nerdy girl who likes to read, which is, oh my god.
She was clutching her book for dear life when she walked into that party. Like, it was like a bulletproof vest for her.
Like, really, you're gonna read Mark Twain at the New Year's Eve party? Even, like, I don't know. She's really trying to be that girl. But so they, like, exchange phone numbers or something. They, like, take photos of each other. Honestly, they're, like, outside, and he's like, oh, can I get your number? So she puts it in, and he immediately takes a flash photo of her face mere inches away. If somebody pulled that shit on me, I would throw hands. Imagine, like, oh, can I get your number? Snap. No, absolutely not.
I did not consent for this.
Right, like a flash photo at night. Like, you're gonna expose every crater of my face.
That's an aggressive action.
But so then they shortly realize that she's transferred to his high school. How convenient. And he is smitten with her because they're both good at singing, but he's good at basketball, so he can't tell his friends that he's good at singing because you're not allowed to do two things.
Never.
You can only do the thing, and his dad is the basketball coach, and his dad is like, it's very like, it's not your dream dad, it's not my dream dad, it's yours, like, kind of energy. His dad's a basketball coach. They audition for the musical together, kind of by accident. They get good. Sharpay and Ryan, twincest vibes, are the stars of the show. They're auditioning to be love interests in a musical together.
Yeah, but everyone knows Ryan's gay.
Yeah, but still,
just the vibe
still
of
they're
it.
they're auditioning to play like love interests with each other, and they're fucking siblings. I don't care whose sexual orientation is what. You don't do that with your sibling.
Fair enough, but I mean, I guess their morals are compromised when it comes to fame.
But they really want it. They do the most in this audition process. And then there's a whole thing that Gabriella is on the academic decathlon team. Troy's on the basketball team. The audition is the same night as both of their like big things. And so they swindle a whole way to do their audition, which for some reason has a packed theater full of people or something. And then they sing together and it's really great. And that's High School Musical, that everyone does a big dance number. I don't know. It's a movie for kids.
Yeah, it's one of those things I'm like, well, if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. But also, there's no reason.
Maybe not.
There's no reason that you should be watching this kid's movie other than to say you've watched High School Musical, which I don't.
If you have no nostalgia like for it, I think the only reason I enjoy it so much is because I can fully sing along to every song that's happening, and like it's something that has been with me like my whole life kind of thing. So like fully, if you're an adult or even if you're just not 8, if you're over the age of, I'm going to cap it at 15. If you're over 15 and you've never seen High School Musical, probably not really worth
your time.
Watch something else that you're nostalgic about. I don't know. What is Gen Z like? Peppa Pig? I don't know. Also, if you haven't seen High School Musical, but you have seen Grease.
Oh my god.
They're the same fucking
100%.
movie. Because it's all about like they have a little meet cute over the winter break, summer break, whatever, and then they find out that they're actually go to school together, and then it's about both of them really changing themselves like for each other and their friends bullying them about it, and then in the end they ride off in a car that flies into the sun. That doesn't happen in High School Musical, but I fucking wish it had.
If you had to pick High School Musical or Grease, which one would you pick?
For me, it's High School Musical just because of, like, I don't have the same nostalgia about Grease. I'm sure my mom would say, you know, like, if somebody who had Grease at that, like, age of their life, I bet it's just, like, a one-to-one. Like, Grease is to my mom as High School Musical is to me. I'm sure of it.
No, that makes sense.
But a crazy fun fact that I learned is that the script, the barest bones version of High School Musical was Grease 3.
Oh my god.
So this was Grease 3, and it was going to be Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, and they were going to play, like, Danny, and they were going to play their kids. Oh. Or one of them was going to be...
Like Danny and Sandy's
Sandy
kid.
and Danny's, child, and then it was going to be Grease 3. And basically it was going to be a very similar retelling of Grease, but set in a more modern high school type setting, about also singing and summer romance, I guess. I don't know, but it was originally going to be that, and then over time, as it took them longer and longer to develop the script and get funding and everything, then obviously Brittany and Justin kind of got phased out of it, and then the whole concept of doing a Grease 3 wasn't really in the cards, and so then by the end it was High School Musical.
That is super neat.
Isn't that wild?
No, I never knew that. Huh.
Which is why it makes so much sense that this is literally just a retelling of Grease. Because that was the full intention from day one.
Did Disney have the rights for it the entire time?
I doubt it. I doubt when it was Grease 3, it was a decom.
Yeah, I wonder when that started, like, the production for, like, not production, but, like, the...
My guess is late 90s, because that's when Brittany and Justin would have been, like, at that age and, like, that right.
And there wasn't any...
Like mid... Yeah. Mid-90s.
There wasn't any bad blood between them yet.
Yeah, right.
Okay, can we talk about the costumes?
Oh my god, why is every woman dressed like she's 50?
Like, Miss Darbus is dressed better than all of the others.
Absolutely. So I feel like Disney, right after this, got into that trend of, like, layers.
Oh, yeah.
Where, like, it was like, you're gonna wear knee-high socks with leggings, then jean shorts, then a tutu, then also, like, a tank top under a hoodie, under an overcoat. Like, that was very, like, please take off 18 layers and then you'll just have a passable outfit. This was right before that,
they were on the cusp.
It was still not great, And in my opinion, they're all dressed, like all the girls at least. I'm like, why do you look like you're about to go to the office? Taylor, that's her name. The
Taylor.
friend, the smart friend, her name is Taylor. She's always dressed like she's the school secretary.
Oh, yeah.
Or she's like wearing a lab coat, just like around.
She's like doing her internship.
She was the oldest. She was 25, and she was on the brink of quitting her acting career because she just like was, I guess, in that like stage of getting rejected a lot, and she was really nervous about singing too. And so she was like, "I'm not even going to go for this if I have to sing." And they were like, "We think you're great." And then she even said, she was like, "You're going to make me love interest with Corbin Blue, but we look like siblings." And they were like, "Don't worry about it." She's like, he has curly hair and I have curly hair. And I'm like, okay, I don't really think that that's like, you can both have curly hair. Ryan and Sharpay look like siblings because they are siblings. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't really worry about it too much, Monique Coleman, but I guess she was really like not into it, but then they casted her and then she really knocked it out of the park.
Oh yeah, I really liked her in the second one too. A lot better than this one, but she was great.
And she's like, I usually don't really like that friend character usually doesn't do it for me.
Bitch.
But I think she brings enough personality and zest to the role that I can almost see where she's coming from. Like, she's bullying her friend for being good at singing, which I guess we can get into, because everyone just like, I guess if you're good at singing at the school, you just get bullied. Or like, if you have hobbies, you get bullied, I guess.
Oh, man.
But yeah, she always looks like she's ready to like be my dental hygienist. And the boys at one, like, Chad always looks a little off.
Oh, his
too.
t-shirts killed me. I hated his stupid little t-shirts.
He's got like JCPenney print, like nondescript, no logo, no brand type t-shirts, and he just like carries a basketball around, but like also is wearing cargo shorts. I don't know. I think the fashion really steps up in movie 2, in my opinion, because there's some outfits that really stand out in my mind from movie 2. But movie 1, it's a little bland for me. I do agree. Miss Darbus is turning looks.
Miss Darbus is probably
with her little
she's
shawl.
Probably my favorite character, honestly. Like, I understand.
I would have to agree.
I know she's meant to like be the villain, and when you're a child, you're like, yes. But like watching this as an adult, I was like, no, Miss Darbus, you're so right for all of this. Take their cell phones.
I would say Sharpay and Ryan's like coordinated outfits they do, like it's not matching, but it's like coordinated. Oh, I love it. They always like have like same color scheme, same like fabric type going on. And I would say the number one outfit of this film for me is the bop to the top dress that Sharpay wears, the blue like feather like flamenco dancer dress that she wears. That I am disgusted that musical number is interspliced with footage from the fucking academic decathlon and the basketball game. I don't give a shit about that. I want to watch Ryan and Sharpay bop to the fucking top. I don't want to see basketball. I don't want to see chemistry. They did them dirty with that edit.
You know who they did dirty, in my opinion, is they did Ryan dirty. I understand, like, having their outfits coordinated and everything like that, but oh my god. Don't get me wrong. I love a good wacky shirt. I love a great pattern. I love a nice crazy button up. You know, I beeline it, like, right towards them at Goodwill. But these are the most horrific shirts I've ever seen in my fucking life. And he always had that little hat with him, too. Oh, it was too...
The little newsy boy cap. I would say in the Mamma Mia episode, I talked about problem patterns. And Mamma Mia's problem patterns look like fall runway, absolute, exquisite, high fashion compared to what they put this poor kid in for this movie. It was like from the like your grandma, what your grandma would wear to like maybe a wedding or church. Like it was, they had shoulder pads. They fully had shoulder pads on that boy. Here's the thing.
I will, and going back to our point about Glee, I will say that Ryan from High School Musical Ryan Evans walked so that Kurt Hummel could run.
Oh, he is the blueprint. I would say, arguably, that the Vanessa Hudgens, Zac Efron characters then immediately transfer over to Rachel and Finn.
Yeah, 100%. Ryan Murphy pretty much ripped off High School Musical.
I would say, though, he was like, what if Sharpay was the main love interest? Like, what if we killed Vanessa Hudgens and we let Sharpay be love interest with Troy Bolton? And that was what Glee did.
True. Yeah, he made one slight adjustment and he was like, all right, this is my show now.
Yeah, right? Kenny Ortega is fucking amazing. So he directed this movie, right? But also, I just want to bring a little light to some of the other things he has done, because his body of work is astounding. So he did the second Cheetah Girls movie, which is like still in that realm of like pretty reasonable. He did the 2009 This Is It Michael Jackson concert movie, which he also choreographed the like live tour show.
Yeah, he was Michael Jackson's like choreographer.
Yeah, he did Hocus Pocus. Fucking iconic. He did the first Newsies movie, like not the remake that came out, but like the original Newsies movie. Also had, so he's basically a choreographer first and a director second, but he just like happened to get more like notability from directing, I guess. But he also was the fucking choreographer for movies such as St. Elmo's Fire, Dirty Dancing, and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He choreographed all of those movies, and he also choreographed the live concert tours for Cher, Hannah Montana, like absolutely out of this world. And so I think, yeah, this man has what Ryan Murphy wants.
You're so right. Oh my god, how did I not know he did like the classics, like Dirty Dancing?
All right. So, welcome to Jen. As I mentioned earlier, we have a little interim segment hosted by my dear mother. It's called Chocolate or Vanilla. It's a fun game that she hosts. I would say you're a host. At this point, you're the host of this game. And it's 2 questions, chocolate or vanilla. You just say which one you like better. And so does this week have a theme?
It does have a theme, because the Wildcats are red. Things that are red.
Love it.
All right. You guys ready to go?
I am ready to roll.
All right, yeah. Let's roll. Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Emily, someday you're going to change your answer just to... Because we answered the same because it starts off this way every week. And like someday I'm just going to say vanilla or something just to really throw everything off.
Just whenever you're feeling a little zesty.
Just, yeah, really switching it up this week.
Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Oh, is there another 3 question in this? So last week, Jen introduced the concept of a third option because some things just naturally come in groups of 3. So
like the 3 of us.
Yeah. Aw. Well, hopefully nobody would pick their favorite. Hopefully they like all of us.
No.
Hopefully nobody's
no. Everyone is picking Jen.
Yeah, right.
I cannot tell you the amount of comments that we get that are it's like, oh my god, I love Jen so much. I love chocolate and vanilla.
Oh my god.
She always texts me, she's like, do people think it's lame? I'm like, no, they think we're lame, and they think that you're cool. So, like, that's just the truth. But, so for chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry, I will still maintain my answer of chocolate.
I said strawberry last week, but this week I think I'm going to stick with vanilla.
Okay, I'm going to say chocolate. All right, Red by T Swift or Red Red Wine by UB40?
I'm gonna say Red by Taylor Swift, I guess, because that other song really gives me like yacht rock vibes, or like it's only ever like played in kind of an ironic way. So it's not something that I don't think anybody listens to with any sort of sincerity. So I guess I'll go with Taylor Swift because that's the most sincere thing you can do is listen to T Swift.
Yeah, Red by Taylor Swift was more within my wheelhouse, so I'm gonna agree with her.
Same, I'll go with T Swift. Morgan Freeman as Red in Shawshank Redemption or Red Foreman as the dad on that 70s show?
Oh, this is so hard because those are 2 iconic characters. Like
named Red.
Right? Yeah, no, truthfully. And I would argue that that's like one of Morgan Freeman is always good and he's had so many roles throughout his career that are like iconic, but I would maybe argue that is like the Morgan Freeman role is I love that movie too, but I also love that 70s show, but I'm gonna have to go with Red from Shawshank Redemption because just that movie just gets me.
I've got to say Red from that 70s show. His character just is one of my favorites. It just tickles me.
How he always calls everybody dumbass.
Oh yeah. No, I love it.
I'm gonna pick Shawshank. Elmo or Clifford the Big Red Dog?
Elmo, because Clifford is like a genetic experiment gone wrong, and I don't think we should encourage children to be aspiring towards levels of like genetic mutation like that. And I think Elmo's a puppet, and puppets fucking rock. So I'll go with Elmo.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Elmo as well on that one.
I will go with Elmo too. Although, Darrett, the first movie you ever saw was Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No, you're confusing me with Ryan.
Oh, was that Ryan's first movie?
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad. What was your first movie?
Shawshank Redemption.
No, we actually, the first movie I ever saw in theaters, as a fun fact, is we went to go see Monsters, Inc., but they sent us to the wrong theater, and they sent us to the first Harry Potter movie, and we stayed for like maybe 15 or 20 minutes, and Jen was like, wow, this is a long commercial, huh? It's a really long trailer for this wizard movie.
Really inappropriate preview. You are
So we accidentally,
correct,
we accidentally saw the first 20 minutes of Harry Potter in the theaters as my first
That's fun.
movie experience, yeah.
All right. Oh, did everybody pick? I would say Elmo also, yeah.
Yeah.
Lightning McQueen or The Flash?
See, Lightning McQueen is one singular presentation of the character, whereas the Flash in like the Marvel universe has been presented in numerous amounts of ways.
Oh,
So
there's
I think
only
that's
one Flash. WB Grant Gustin Flash.
Yeah, from the CW show. Jen loves a good, like, the only reason they still make the show is because you tune in. Like, they're like, well, one person's watching, so I guess we have the funding for another season.
We can't let Jen down.
So, but regardless, any presentation of The Flash, I will still pick Lightning McQueen because fucking ka-chow.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go for Lightning McQueen just because it's voiced by Owen Wilson, and you can't get better than that.
He is awesome. Of course, I am picking The Flash, though. Deadpool or Iron Man?
Deadpool.
True enough. I actually never saw any of the Deadpool movies, but I know that I like his character better than I like Tony Stark, so I'll say Deadpool.
Yeah, I'll go Deadpool also. Rupert Grint or Molly Ringwald? Because they are
Two redheads?
Yeah.
I'll go with our boy Roop because I really appreciate that he like did Harry Potter, then took that fat check and has just been like living his best life since then.
I'm gonna choose Molly Ringwald, but for the other for sort of your reasoning, Dara, is because she had her era in the 80s.
The Brat Pack.
She was the queen, but my first real introduction to Molly Ringwald was, I think it was the 2008 or 2009 show, The Secret Life of the American Teenager. And she did not just take her check and leave. She went and she was on The Secret Life of the American Teenager, which...
Which all she had to do was show up to set. Like, I bet that was so easy for her. She was just like, just another day. Might as well buy a fifth house. I'll do some CW show. Why not? I think it was ABC Family, actually,
It was,
right?
yeah. But I remember watching that at like 11 years old and being like, wow, this is TV.
I will choose Molly Ringwald also. She's definitely my era. Spider-Man or Darth Maul?
Spider-Man. I love Darth Maul, but if you give me Spider-Man and then a different choice, I will probably almost always pick Spider-Man.
I'm probably going to have to go with... Darth Maul, honestly. I just don't have that attachment to Spider-Man.
That was a heavy pour there.
Sorry.
I'm going to go with Spider-Man. All right. Ding, ding, ding. Here comes chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry.
Jen's our intern, and she's great because she also does her own sound effects.
All right. Dirty Shirley, a vodka cranberry, or jingle juice?
Okay, I have to give some context because I would not say we didn't invent jingle juice, but we found jingle juice and we have since, traditionalized it. Mm-hmm. That jingle juice is if you ever want to fucking knock your extended family's socks off on the holidays, it's really good for like Thanksgiving or Christmas, just like that general, what is it? It's Prosecco, sweet Moscato, cranberry juice, vodka, lime juice,
And Sprite?
And that's it.
Is there Sprite in it? I can't
No,
remember.
because the bubbles is the Prosecco.
Oh, right. And then you
It's
put
great. It's
cranberries
like,
in it.
You put like cranberries and like limes in it, and you like jingle juice. You do it in a big vat because you use like 2 bottles of wine, 2 bottles of Prosecco, like 6 cups of vodka or something crazy like that. It's great.
And then we served it
usually-
with like sugared rim on the glasses.
Yeah,
That is
right.
so
I usually
hot.
drink like most of the bowl by myself, and it's like 90% alcohol, and it tastes like fucking Jolly Ranchers. It's so good.
It was
so
a
that's why
Christmas game changer.
That's why I fall asleep before 2 p.m. every holiday. It's because I start pounding jingle juice at like 10 in the morning. So
Check it
I'm
out.
gonna go with jingle juice just because that's our thing.
I've definitely had something similar to jingle juice. I'm not sure that I've had that exact recipe or anything like that. But Jesus, that sounds so good that I'll throw my hat in for jingle juice.
I thought you were going to say Dirty Shirley because you love a Dirty Shirley, right?
Yeah. I don't know. I like that it's
Love
simple.
is strong.
I like that it's a simple drink, and then I can do it with like 3 ingredients pretty much. But vodka cran is like even less than that.
I will go with jingle juice also. Lobster or shrimp?
Shrimp.
Yeah, no, 110% shrimp. I never really got into lobsters. I worked at a seafood shack for like 4 years, and I avoided lobster from there the entire time.
Is
It's
it
not
'cause
my
you-
jam.
You just saw too much of like how it gets prepared?
Yeah, didn't love it.
I think lobster tastes better than shrimp. Apples or strawberries?
Strawberries.
Apples.
I'll say strawberries. Those are 2 of my favorite fruits though.
Classics.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Red velvet cupcake or strawberry shortcake?
I'll go red velvet cupcake. A lot of people really diss on red velvet because they're like, it's not any different than chocolate cake. Blah, blah, blah. No, it's about the cream cheese frosting,
Exactly.
motherfuckers, and that's why red velvet cake.
Yeah.
Red velvet cupcake for me.
I'm entirely there with you. I'm a little whore for some red velvet cake.
Yeah, it's so beautiful too. I will say that also, red velvet. Yeah, for the sweep. Last one. Twizzlers or red vines?
Twizzlers.
I feel like I haven't had red vines really.
You know
Are they
what?
just the ones they pull off, sort of? Like,
Yeah, it's just- they're, like,
a different
thicker.
type of licorice. Yeah, I guess
Interesting.
It's just different brand. It's like
Interesting.
just 2 brands
Huh.
difference.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know.
I'll-
Some people are really touchy about it.
Really? No, I'll just say Twizzlers just because I'm familiar with them.
I will also go with Twizzlers. I think they taste like plastic, but I love them at the movies.
They're a good one.
So that is it.
Woo!
Thank you, Jen.
So you're welcome.
Yeah. So we'll be posting these questions on our Instagram story probably this upcoming weekend. So keep your eye out, and we would love to hear you guys vote on your favorite red things. I'm really glad you. What are like the 2 main kinds of red wine, like Cabernet and like whatever?
there's
I was really
Merlot or
surprised there was
something.
no. Yeah, there was no wine questions in here. I was honestly surprised. I wouldn't have had an answer. 'Cause
There's like
red wine gives me
Merlot
GERD, but-
and Malbec and Shiraz and Cabernet. Those are all the reds. Rosé. is
Couldn't
kind of,
tell ya.
Pink.
Interesting.
Couldn't tell you. Well, thank you so much, Jen. It's always a joy having you.
All right. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Have a great
Love you
night.
too. Bye.
Bye.
All right.
Always great having Jen on the pod. So where were we? We were talking about High School Musical, specifically Kenny Ortega.
Okay. I want to say something. I know that Kenny Ortega pretty much carried this movie on his back and just the franchise in general. But out of all of the actors within the film, Ashley Tisdale carried this.
I was hoping you were gonna say that because I could not agree more. Everyone else was at a 6 and she was at a 10.
Dude.
Or like if everyone was at a 10, she was at a fucking 27. She was doing the absolute most, and she actually auditioned for Gabriella at first
Interesting.
because she had been doing Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and she was kind of playing that like shy, nerdy, smart girl, very like that kind of character. So she thought it would really transfer over. And he was like, "You're perfect for this movie, but not for Gabriella. You are Sharpay." And so I think she turned it the fuck out, like absolute 180 from what we had seen her do on Disney Channel previously, absolutely showing us the range.
Dude, Kenny had a vision and he was right for it.
I'm not going to call myself a Sharpay Evans apologist, but I think it is pretty universally accepted amongst the High School Musical community that as a child, you think Sharpay is the bully, and then as you mature, you realize that she was fucking right.
Mm-hmm.
She was pissed and she was right for it. They came in with costumes, with choreo, with rehearsed numbers, and these two motherfuckers just walk up and do a ballad rendition just because they have sexual chemistry means they get the role.
Doesn't make sense.
No, their audition fucking murdered Troy and Gabriella.
Oh yes,
and I cannot believe that Miss Darbus for even a moment considered it.
Mm-mm. Like, here's my thing, is that Darbus has, like, a relationship with both of these two characters, you know what I mean? And she threw them to the side like it was nothing. Like, in my head, I was like, yeah, I think Miss Darbus is probably the first person that Ryan Evans came out to.
Yeah, yeah, right? Where's that story?
And she cast him right off onto the side.
I cannot believe, like, every time they do a performance, it slays. And Troy and Gabriella are just over here not even bringing it at the same level. And I just cannot
Where's that show choir energy? Where's that performance? Where's that zest that you need for the stage?
Sharpay is kind of a bully at times. Like, I will say she's not very nice. But you don't always have to be nice, especially when people are fucking pissing you off. You should say what you feel, and I respect Sharpay for that. And she said that they had been the lead of every school production
17
or something
productions.
like that. 17. And how old are they supposed to be in this movie? 15? That's absolutely wild.
Yeah.
I would be mad if I got They should take their talents elsewhere.
Exactly.
They should go do some community theater or something like that.
If I got dethroned like that, I would be fucking pissed too.
I don't know. I think Sharpay and Ryan need to realize, though, that, like, auditioning as a team for, like, romantic roles probably just isn't in their best interest.
Well, I think Sharpay realizes that more in the second movie.
Right, and I was gonna say, you think she turns it in movie 1. No. She absolutely steps her pussy up in movie 2.
What's that song? Like, Huma Huma Nuka Nuka Apawa'a, or whatever it is?
Right, she has that moment, and then also in the pool, the iced tea imported from England.
God.
Right, I think movie 2 provides just as many bangers, if not far more than movie 1. And Sharpay, we finally get to see Sharpay for everything she's worth. Because right in this first movie, they're kind of playing her off as, like, the snooty villain. We're not supposed to like her. Whereas I think in movie 2, they realize that there's really some substance to her character that people enjoy. Mm-hmm. And that's, like, her being extra, her, really doing the most all of the time. And that's something you could make, like, adversarial, or you could make it, like, a thing that you play up for entertainment.
Yeah. I think you're definitely right that the second movie has, I think, better songs, honestly. But what would you say was the best musical number from the first one?
So, this is kind of hard. I really do, like, Stick to the Status Quo, just as a whole number. Because, like, half of the songs in this movie are people singing about how you should be embarrassed if you're good at singing. Like, that's most of the songs in this movie are people being like, if you can sing, you should kill yourself. That's as they're, like, doing a cartwheel off of a cafeteria table. Which just makes it's absolutely absurd. And I love that song where, all the other kids, like, are confessing their, like, weird talents that they're supposedly embarrassed of. Like, he's like, I'm really good at baking chocolate chip cookies. And everyone's like, that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. What? The smart girl who wants to be a hip-hop dancer, they bully her. The stoner kid who can play the cello. If you're smoking weed and your friend pulls out a cello, that's the coolest shit fucking ever. Nobody's gonna bully you for that. I wish these kids...
I've definitely smoked weed with a kid and had him pull out his cello before.
Right, but so I'm just saying that these kids should be confessing way more embarrassing talents. Or hobbies, at least. One of them should be like, I write Harry Potter fan fiction. Like, Not to say that you should be embarrassed if you do that, because I've been there, but, like, these are not, like, deep confessions. These are just, like, I kind of like to dance.
Like, I'm actually pretty talented, and everyone's like,
Yeah,
ew,
right.
that's so gross.
Yeah, early acceptance from Juilliard, and everyone's like, ugh. Makes absolutely no sense. So I love just the pure absurdity of that scene. Absolutely does it for me. And then Bop to the Top is, I will say, the banger of, it's the banger of the whole show. And I don't understand why for this callback, Ryan and Sharpay get to do Bop to the Top, which fucking slaps, and Troy and Gabriella have to do, Breakin' Free? Lame.
Yeah.
Why aren't they singing the same song if they're supposedly auditioning for the same roles?
I can tell you, ask frickin' Kelsey, because apparently she wrote the entire musical. That was the most wild thing to hear in this. Like, I did not remember hearing that when I was, 8 years old. And they're like, yeah, no, she's the composer. She wrote the whole musical.
She wrote the whole thing.
Like, that takes people years and years of their life to do. And
she's 15. She's a fucking prodigy.
She probably banged it out in, 3 months.
What's your favorite song? Or musical number experience?
It sticks with the status quo. It's just so fun, and it's the dance. It's like we talked last week about how there wasn't enough dancing. This number gives it to me, and I really like towards the end when Sharpay takes the reins and she's like, "This is not what I want."
Yeah, right? She's like, people expressing their hobbies and talents, not on my watch. Yeah, and she shuts the show down and then gets chili fries. Why the fuck is Gabriella eating chili fries at 11:30 on a Wednesday? Like, riddle me
Why
that.
would you eat, it's not the issue of chili fries, it's the issue of your high school's chili fries.
Yeah.
Like, come on, Gabriella, you claim to be, the smartest person, in the north, or not the north, the southwest, and she's eating her school's chili fries. Like, okay, yeah, sure. Solve equations, but you don't know a thing about real life.
I wanted to bring up, because you just mentioned, the absurd amount of talent that Kelsey must have had to obtain to write an entire musical that then got, passed by the board or whatever, because they wouldn't just let a student write a show, right? They'd be like, this has to, get checked out, and, obviously it's good to go. But the amount of, prodigal talent that this movie is claiming these kids have is absolutely absurd to me. So we've got, level 1, and that's Troy Bolton, and he can sing good and do sports good. And that is not your average Joe. But that he is not even the beginning. That is not even where we touch on talent, because Gabriella supposedly can solve nuclear equations in her head. Why the fuck is this girl at a public school in Albuquerque? Why is she not at some MIT prep program for NASA or some shit? The way she looks, and she's like, actually, that should be that, and that should be that, and actually, I can solve this in my head in 5 seconds, and I'm just the nerdy smart girl. What?
She literally should have been in college already. She should have skipped 4 grades.
Right, she's one of those kids who passes medical school by 18 or whatever, is a surgeon, a child surgeon. The way they are portraying how smart she apparently is at math and science is literally that level. She's like, I don't really know if I should join academic decathlon. I really need to catch up on my curriculum. And I'm like, girl, you don't know how to multitask? Clearly you're solving Einstein's theory of relativity in an afternoon. So this is no sweat for you. But then Kelsey's out here writing full musicals. Sharpay and Ryan apparently have been on Broadway. What is this high school? What's in the water?
I don't know.
That's all I have to say.
All I know, too, is that, what is it? That kid that bakes? You
Right?
know he's going to, the Culinary Institute of America next year.
Also, so these kids are supposed to be juniors in high school?
I think so. I think they're sophomores, actually.
Because the second movie's about the summer, right? And then the third movie's about college.
Yes, okay.
Or their senior year where
so
they're
they're
deciding
juniors.
for college. So I'm going to argue that they're juniors. They probably mentioned it and I didn't pay attention. But yeah, fucking insane. So an interim fun fact that I have to share is casting-wise, somebody who was fully cast and almost booked and ready to do the role of Troy Bolton was none other than Zoe 101 star, the kid who played Logan Reese. Do you
I
remember
know.
like Logan from Zoe 101? Yeah, he was, they cast him. They fully were like, you're Troy Bolton. And then Nickelodeon stepped in and said, not on our watch. He's in Zoe 101. We will not be having any of this Nickelodeon Disney crossover because that is against the rules. So they pulled him out so there would be none of that tomfoolery. And then that's when they passed it on to, you know, Drew Seeley and then Zac Efron, etc., etc. Imagine how different this movie would be if it was fucking Logan Reese.
Zac Efron got so fucking lucky. Genuinely so lucky with this.
That this was the movie of a generation, truly, that got so many young girls excited about film. This is a film.
I want to know Martin Scorsese's thoughts on High School Musical.
Pro. I bet he loves it.
He said, this is camp.
Yeah, right. The way that Sharpay says "evaporate, tall person" to the fucking boy who likes to bake, iconic.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I just thought that was absolutely wild. Tell me, this whole movie is not a very long and stretched out, long-winded allegory for being bisexual.
Oh my god, no. I was so thinking about this. Like, last week you were like, yeah, I look at it from, like, a lens of, like, something, just some weird little quirk in the movie. I was like, dude, Troy is gay.
Troy's bi. He fully... Right.
Like, I can't do both.
He can't decide, do I hang out with my boys? Do I hang out with my boys, or do I hang out with this girl I like? When he literally says the line to his dad, like, why can't I do both? Like, why can't I be both? When he's like, are you the singing guy or the sports guy? And he's like, why can't I be both? And it's the whole movie is about that tension between him truly loving these two different things and wanting to participate in both worlds. And I'm like, this is why every 22-year-old in America is bisexual, because they all watched High School Musical and it got ingrained into your head that you can do sports and theater. And that means you can like boys and girls. You heard it here first, folks. That was just when he said that to his dad, I was like, you can't tell me that this isn't him coming out right now. Like, this is...
Like, him and Chad...
Why can't I like both,
Him and Chad
Dad?
are a little too friendly.
Oh my god, I've got to say, movie one, I'm a Kelsey Sharpay shipper. Because, so, I will admit, I did read a lot of High School Musical fan fiction back in my day, because I was a very early consumer of fan fiction. And I like iCarly, Victorious, a lot of High School Musical fan fiction for sure. And so I really liked the Sharpay Kelsey, because Kelsey is a lesbian.
Yeah.
Like,
She
wears
100%.
a tux. She wears a tux and a fucking bowler hat to the audition. Like, this isn't even the show. This is, like, the callback audition that she's just, like, gonna play the piano for. And she shows up in a velour, like, red velvet tux. That was extra. But her and Sharpay, I always thought that there was, like, a bully, like Sharpay's the bully and she's the victim, but, like, secretly they like each other. Like enemies to lovers. And then movie two switches over and it's totally Chad and Ryan, because they do the I don't dance baseball
100%.
number where then they're in each other's clothes at the end, and that's also very like, we don't see eye to eye, but there's something
100%.
there.
You can't tell me that there's not.
Okay, so if we're gonna do fuck, marry, kill, we do have to employ the you cannot fuck or marry a child, but you can kill a child. So that only really puts adults on the table, which there aren't many, but there's Troy's dad, who's also the basketball coach, there's Miss Darbus, and then there's Gabriella's mom. So
You could throw the principal in there, but I'd say Gabriella's mom, I guess,
has more screen time, I guess. I don't know. So those are our three sanctioned adults that I think we can do for the big one. But I guess if you want to throw in it, like, if you want to kill a kid, I'm not going to stop you.
I'm trying to think about what kid I would kill if I could kill a kid. Well, I mean, I can.
Yeah, I mean, they all seem
decent.
okay. I'm going to risk it all, and I'm going to marry Miss Darbus, obviously. We will run the local theater like the Navy together. I'm going to fuck Troy's dad, because he's kind of hot.
Oh, yeah. What do you mean, kinda? He's hot.
Yeah. And I'm going to kill Gabriella's mom, because she's not really giving me anything.
Yeah, no,
personality-wise.
I've got to... Yeah, you're right for that. I choose all the same ones as you. Like...
And honestly, when it comes down to it, like, I don't want to kill any of these kids, because the ones we're supposed to dislike are, like, actually I'm rooting for them, so I will still stick with my answer and I'll kill Gabriella's mom.
No, but I do want to say that sort of similar to what we did or what we said with Hairspray is that like when you're like 11 years old, you're like, oh my god, Zac Efron is the pinnacle of this, and it definitely goes for High School Musical as well. But then once you get older, you're like, oh my god, his dad.
Yeah, right. Right. If 8-year-old me knew that 22-year-old me was kind of like Troy Bolton's dad can kind of get it, like absolutely not. But no, I love that. Also, I love that like my crush on Zac Efron as like a preteen, like at like 10, is like fully warranted because I like totally still have a crush on him at
Fair
22.
enough.
Like Zac Efron can still get it. I don't give a shit that he has a YOLO tattoo. Like I'm still here for it. I'm still here for Zac Efron. Zephron.
So what did you eat and drink when you watched this?
So I ate, this is really sad. I ate Ritz crackers with nothing, just dry Ritz crackers.
Okay.
And I drank water because I was afraid if I started drinking wine at 6, I'd be way too drunk to do this podcast at 9. So very, very simplistic for me. I had for dinner, I had like Italian. That doesn't really fit the vibe, but I would say if you're gonna like do a thing, if you're gonna have a moment, I always thought that Corbin Blue's name, there were always these commercials that ran, like maybe not on Disney Channel, but maybe they were on like ABC Family or something, but they were for like Le Cordon Bleu cooking school. Do you
I know what
I'm
you're talking about, but all that's coming to mind is like chicken cordon bleu.
Well, that's what it was named after, so I think you should make chicken cordon bleu, which is where you like take chicken and you pound it out and then you stuff it with like cheese and ham, right? It's pretty good. Definitely. So like make yourself chicken cordon bleu in honor of Corbin Bleu.
That's totally the move. Genuinely, I don't even have anything to follow that up with because that is...
Because they used to be like, go to the cooking school of like Le Cordon Bleu. And I was like, Corbin Bleu has a chef school? Like, what the fuck? Like, as a child, it really confused me. But then obviously that's a real food that exists. So that's what I think you should eat. Or like, do like big sleepover food. Like popcorn, like cupcakes, like a big bowl of candy, something. This movie is sleepover vibes to the max.
And what would you drink with this? I mean, if you're having chicken cordon bleu, I feel like wine.
Just like white wine, I pound some white wine, I guess. And then if you're doing like sleepover snacks, definitely something really fun, like a big mixed drink, jungle juice. We were just talking about jingle juice, just like something really fruity and fun,
like a punch, like a rum punch.
Something red, maybe to go with
Wildcats,
the school. I guess. I don't know. What about, did you eat or anything?
Didn't eat anything at all. I had a nice LaCroix and that was about it. But no, I think you're so right for the chicken cordon bleu. That's good.
As a kid that always like really stuck out to me and I was like super confused about it. Honestly, I'm not going to say you should follow this up with High School Musical 2, but each movie's like an hour and 30 minutes. So like if you're really vibing with it, High School Musical 2 is a really great trajectory to go. But if you're going to go a different way as far as what to follow this up with, I had a couple of notes. This movie makes me want to watch Mean Girls, because just like that, like, I don't know, high school atmosphere type thing, that was like step 1. And then step 2 was like Spy Kids, because then I just think about movies I absolutely loved at like that age 10, right? So Spy Kids. And then for some reason, I just equated the scene where they're auditioning, the very first round of auditions for the musical, where a ton of the kids are coming in, they're singing and they're bad, like they're like really flat and stuff. That made me, for some reason, really think of the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, where they sing Total Eclipse of the Heart for the school musical, which is like Wizard of Oz or something. Have you ever seen that movie? I
haven't, but I know what you're talking about.
So like that scene from that movie really sticks in my mind. Like if I could tell you anything about the Diary of a Wimpy Kid movie, it's that they sing Total Eclipse of the Heart to audition for their school musical. And for some reason that just relates it to High School Musical for me. I don't really know. The loose connection there, but do with it what you will.
Okay, so I was really trying to do like a character or actor like association thing, and my first thought I was like, okay, Corbin Bleu, you could do Jump In, but I went and I took another step and I was like, who's in that? Keke Palmer. You know what you watch? Akeelah and the Bee.
The Bee. What a great movie. That's amazing. Yeah,
It's like
She's amazing.
it's not quite Disney Channel, but it's in that realm almost of like when you were young, it was just one of those movies you watched.
Was it not? Was it not a Disney Channel original movie? Jump In?
I don't. Jump In was, but I'm not talking Jump In. I'm talking
Akil and the
Bee. Yeah.
Bee. I feel like, yeah, definitely like Disney Channel adjacent for sure. Also, if you're like in that Keke Palmer mood, watch the fucking interview where she doesn't know who Dick Cheney is. That's my favorite thing on the whole planet. Whenever I'm feeling down,
this man.
I do not know this man.
He could walk by me on the street, and I wouldn't say a thing.
I love Keke Palmer.
That's
great. That's an amazing suggestion. Yeah, any like Disney Channel original movie. Cheetah Girls, like.
Yeah, definitely totally Cheetah Girls.
Once you're in that vibe, like, ride the wave.
And it feels like a weird movie to ask to rate, but what would you rate this movie?
Right, this is one of those ones that's, like, so afflicted by my nostalgia that I cannot, in good faith, tell you that this is a good movie, because it's not, but it's so fucking entertaining, and I love it. So I'm gonna give it, like, a 6.5, maybe a 7, just for that pure, like, I just love it. I will sing these songs in the car until I'm dead. Like, this movie is just a part of my childhood experience, and I think that is a valid thing to factor in when you're rating a movie. Like, I can admit that it's not like an amazing piece of cinema, but I do just love it. So I'll give it like a solid 7 for High School Musical. Yeah,
I'm gonna have to bump it down a point, but I'll give it a 6 because I don't know. I'm not particularly nostalgic about this movie, but there is some nostalgia there. But yeah, like you said, like, is it a good movie? No. But I enjoy it, and sometimes that's what matters most.
Right, and it's just fun to watch. It's like an hour and 30 minutes. You don't really have to pay attention to it. You can just sing to the songs. I will, like, fully blast the High School Musical soundtrack, especially High School Musical 2. Like 1 and 2 together, just, like, put that shit on shuffle, skip through all of Gabriella's ballads. Like, fuck that. All of Sharpay's banger. Do we want to reveal our theme for next month?
I think we should.
Okay, so for the month of September, we will be choosing films based on the current social media phenomenon known as Girl Boss Gaslight Gatekeep.
No, you know, you always get the order wrong. It's Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I say Girl Boss Gaslight Gatekeep. What is it? Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss?
Yes.
Triple G, not Guys Grocery Games, but Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss is our theme for next month. If you have any suggestions, please DM us. Also, just for, even if it doesn't fit that theme, just going forward, we always add them to our list, and we, pick through them and consider what you guys want to hear us talk about every time we select movies.
We need a question for the end. It's the end of the month.
Oh my god. Well, it cannot be something so simple as to say, did Sharpay deserve the part? Because
no.
That is just... What about like maybe like what's your favorite Disney Channel original movie? Is that...
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
Does everybody have... Yeah, because I think that goes as far back as like maybe the late 90s. So that some like... And then as early as like... I don't know if Disney is still making original movies today.
For sure, but...
But so... Not a Disney movie. It has to be a Disney Channel original movie.
Yes.
So if you look at like DCOM, that's the vibe we're looking for. If you want to send us in, we'll put it on our Instagram. But also if you want to just comment it on our post for High School Musical, for anything on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, we'll put you in for a giveaway. I totally forgot that this was giveaway month. Tote bags, pins, stickers, all of that good stuff. We're also kind of looking pretty soon to maybe get t-shirts made.
We've been saying this for like months.
You just tell us what your favorite Disney Channel original movie is. Super easy way to get some free merch. So definitely comment. All of our account information will be in the description below, our website, our email, all of that good stuff. And also please send us your suggestions for Girl Gas Boss Keep Gate Light month. Or just anything really. We love to hear from you guys. And for chocolate or vanilla like themes, Jen does themes sometimes, so if you have ideas for that too, please let us know. Thank you very much for listening to this episode about a movie for children. What's a good... Are we all in this together? Are we?
I would hope so. If you've been listening for this long, we're definitely all in this together.
And keep your head in the game. Go Wildcats. Go Wildcats. Go Wildcats. Go Wildcats. Go Wildcats.